Welcome to the Elite Athlete Podcast. I am Dr. Nicole Tatro, and I'm here to help you unleash your peak performance and dominate your sport with fierce confidence and unstoppable energy. Whether you're a high-level athlete, a dedicated parent, a coach, or an agent, this podcast is for you. Get ready for ultimate strategies, expert insights, and cutting-edge tips that will take your game to the next level. We'll also cover personalized blood work analysis to provide unique insights that can transform your performance. We'll explore personalized health, optimized nutrition, and powerful recovery techniques. Whether you're on the ice, the field, or in the gym, together, we'll unlock your true potential and make your athletic dreams a reality. Let's do this, because greatness is within you, and it's time to unleash it. Well, hey there. Welcome back to the Elite Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole Tatro, and today I have a super special treat for you. I'm actually very excited about this because it's the first time I'm bringing on an actual athlete to the podcast. Not that I haven't had prior athletes telling us about their past. We have a current athlete right now. I have with us Jason Smith. Jason is a junior at Keene State College and a hockey player. Welcome, Jason. I'm so excited, first off, to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time, but thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. So as I was talking to you before we hit record, I like to reach my audience of athletes or athlete parents or even coaches or even agents. And I want to help them spread the word that our internal health is really important on what shows up on the ice or in the gym or, out there running or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. So, with that being said, what I'd love to do, or maybe I should back up a little bit, is if you wouldn't mind sharing your journey. Like, you're super young, and I remember we're good family friends. Your dad actually was a huge influence on us, for my boys
Yeah.
in the hockey world, and you were little at the time, but you're still young in the situation, but you've had enough
Yeah.
that I would love to hear your story. Like, how did you get there? How you're doing the thing, right?
Yeah.
You're playing college hockey. Like, how cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Tell me a little bit about that struggle, that journey, if you would, because there's other young hockey players that are looking up to you and would love to hear what it took.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it really starts like growing up in Vermont, it's definitely a smaller market. As you know, as everyone, all your listeners probably have heard, like it's really hard to progress in the sport in the state, but keep your head down, get your route going, and it can always work out. So, for me, I started, I just played Essex youth hockey, played Glades for a little bit, and then ultimately just started playing for my local high school in Essex. Um, Spent 4 years there. Probably not the best choice for my overall development, but something that I always wanted to do was play high school hockey for my school. So kind of something that I was stuck out. After that, played 2 years
I
at
think you also, Jason, you were involved because I think if I remember correctly, I remember crying seeing your name on the TV screen. You were a COVID kid
yeah,
too,
yeah.
huh?
So that honestly,
Tell me what year did you miss for that?
yeah. So that was my senior year.
Yeah, that's right, because because our local, just to give some context, our local um, news stations put the seniors' names when it became graduation time, and I saw Jason's name and amongst a few others, and just cried and cried, and so yeah, I'm assuming that must have
Yeah.
played a little bit of all of this too.
Yes, that was a really, really weird time because that we had just finished up our season. And then like that next week is when everything kind of got shut down. They started canceling like events, stuff like that. So we got sent home for a couple weeks. They said we're gonna take like two
That's
weeks
right. So
off.
you got in most of your
Yeah,
hockey
I
season that
didn't miss
year.
anything. So
Okay,
the state championship,
okay, that's good.
yeah.
Okay.
So we lost in the semifinals my senior year, and the state championship. I forget what day it was, but our girls basketball team was also in the semifinals, and that was like the day after the hockey championship. I think I could be wrong, but and then they canceled that. So our girls basketball team was like quad champions
You
senior year because
That's
they didn't
right.
play out the
That's
rest of
right.
the season.
So you guys got your
Yeah,
chance. You lost in the
yeah,
champion. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to remember
yeah.
because it's been a while.
And then after that, they kind of everyone went home for a little bit. Like I said, we're just gonna take a couple weeks off school just to kind of let the thing settle down. And then in the back of my mind, I kind of always knew like, yeah, we're probably done for the year. And then that was definitely tough to hear, especially because looking forward to our senior lacrosse season. Just get out there one last time, and it kind of left a lot of question marks. Like schools weren't. We were hearing about schools, like everyone's getting ready to go to college, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I could do that again. Like go Zoom class every day or sit through testing and all that stuff. So that ultimately is what kind of led me to play juniors. Because honestly, before the COVID thing happened, I was gonna find a school to play lacrosse at, and then COVID happened, and I was like, I probably should just wait it out and see what happens. So decided to play juniors and played 2 years in Vermont. Just stayed at home. Actually, it was interesting. The first year, they banned the cross state travel competition. They had all the laws and rules for that. So I actually moved to New Hampshire. Our whole team, we moved to New Hampshire. We lived in Waterville Valley for 5 months out of a hotel.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a good
It's a cool
experience.
place. I'm
Yeah.
not sure I would
Yeah, it
that
was a
I
great
was like,
place
what
to
a
live,
crazy
but
I didn't know that.
yeah, so
We've been to Waterville Valley
yeah,
for hockey,
it's an
yes, you
awesome
know.
place. Yeah, so we had to go there so we were able to play. We only were able to play the same 2 other teams the whole season, so it was just because the interstate travel,
So
so
that was your first year of
yeah, that was
juniors?
our first year, the year right after COVID, so they had a
Wow.
bunch of
And
restrictions.
you wow, okay.
Yeah, so that was
Wow. That's just amazing
yeah,
how it affected all of you
mhm,
just enough to really mess with some
yeah,
things.
yeah. So then after that, the next year, everything was normal, so I was back living at home. I had one of my buddies actually live with us at home, so it was good, a good experience. Final year, um, didn't exactly go how I planned. Our coach from the previous year left, and we had a new coach come in. We didn't exactly see eye to eye, so just didn't get the opportunity I felt I deserved. So end of the season, I
Oh,
was kind of left looking
we
for
know how that
yeah,
is. Our family knows how that is. Unbelievable. You get recruited by one
yeah,
coach, and you're literally told that you're going to be a starter, you'll be a captain by this
yeah,
particular time, and then they literally change coaches, and the whole entire thing
yeah,
changes. That's happened to us multiple times.
yeah. It's definitely a frustrating thing.
I get it.
New coach came in and told me, asked me about schools I wanted to go to. We talked about schools, set this and that, and our last bit of a conversation, our first time talking was, "Oh, I'm also fine with potentially playing ACHA hockey somewhere." And he was like, "No, no, no, don't worry. I'll get you to NCAA school." And then end of the year came around and there was none of that. So, but it all worked out in the
Oh,
end. I was able to find a
it's so
school.
hard. So fill in those gaps then. So what did you do then? So you had to obviously advocate for yourself,
Yeah.
it sounds like.
So after my last year of juniors, I didn't have any NCAA offers. Just didn't work out in my favor. So I just really started emailing schools, the ACHA schools in the area and some farther south, just trying to find a place to play really. Ultimately, landed on Keene State. They had a good ACHA program here, closer to home and affordable school. So ended up there, played here the last 2 years. And then after my freshman year, they announced that we were expanding to adding an NCAA team for men's and women's. So I decided to stick it out and ultimately made that team this year. So happy to be a part of that inaugural varsity status team here at Keene State.
Nice. Congratulations, Jason. I know it is you know that we know that it's a grind,
Yeah.
and Owen's right behind you, it's a
Mhm.
grind. It's such a it's so uncertain from day to day,
Yeah.
so good for you. Are you having fun?
Yeah, it's great. It's been great. I mean, honestly, it doesn't really feel too different. Just like more benefits, I would say, like from the school fund, more funding and stuff like that. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Good. A little bit more support in
yeah,
that way
yeah,
must be.
definitely.
How far do you guys travel?
This year we're going out to Buffalo State. We're going to Misericordia.
Pretty far drive for you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to Misericordia in Pennsylvania. They're also another first year program, so we're gonna go down there, play them twice. Other than that, we were at Castleton on Saturday, usually in the New England area. We're not really gonna travel too far outside of that, once or twice a year.
That's not much different for mine and your family,
Yeah,
right? We did that all while you guys were little,
yeah,
like we gleaned.
yeah, it's far. Not too bad, though.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's really
Thank
awesome. Are you guys doing well?
Yeah, so we've played 3 regular season games. We lost the first one in overtime. Second one, we technically tied, but we won in a shootout, but yeah, the shootout doesn't really matter, I guess, for the NCAA. It's kind of a weird thing.
Oh,
So, like, we
okay.
game finished, overtime finished. We won the shootout, but we only get credited for a tie. I don't know how that works, but, and then
Interesting.
last night we, got our first regulation win, so boys are feeling pretty good.
Nice. So do you have the day off today?
Yeah, we actually had practice at 8 this morning, little pregame skate kinda deal, but we play again
Perfect.
tomorrow.
That's why you said the rest of the day off.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you guys play tomorrow
Yeah, we're
too?
going down to UMass Dartmouth tomorrow.
Okay, not too far.
Yeah,
I know it's crazy. So Owen is in junior hockey right now. I'm not sure if you've followed him at all, but he's out west. So it's insane. Everything is so far away.
yeah,
Like they're getting on a bus right now and they travel like 7, 8 hours
yeah. I've heard the
for their
stories.
games. It's insane.
Yeah, that's
It's
how West
crazy.
teams
I mean,
really do a lot of travel.
they do, just because of the distance. However, it's an interesting experience because there's a lot of support in each of the towns or the cities that have the team. Because there's not like, for example, right here, right? We've got you could go to a UAM
Yeah,
game, you can go to a junior cat game, you can go to the Lumberjacks. There's so many options, even in our
yeah,
little area. Forget about like if you were in Boston,
mhm,
right? Look at all the options that you could do. But there's not a lot of options where they are at. So it's like a really fun experience for families to go on a Friday and Saturday night. So it's been an interesting change. Sadly, we haven't been able to get out there. We just watch online.
yeah,
I'm grateful for that, but it's just our family, like
yeah,
that's not the same. It kind of hurts me every time. Like I want to
yeah,
see it in person, but you can only do so
yeah,
much. So, do you mind? So, maybe this will make you a little vulnerable because I know you're still really young and college life is tough. But would you mind? You know that the basis of this podcast is about the health of the athlete so that you guys can perform at your very best. Um, you can share as much or as little as you'd like, but looking back as far as you can, could you give some, you know, how do you feel? Are the things that you are doing that you love that you've learned for your health, or the things that you wish you would have known then, now, that kind of thing, or now then, tell me a little bit about that part. Like, how important was that for you as an individual? I know every kid is different as far as, I'm not calling you a kid. I know you're a young man, but as far as your value, like, for example, when we started out with your dad and the Glades and all of that stuff, you know, it would be nothing for all the kids to be getting, pizza or a corn dog
yeah.
in between games, right? So that's where I'm going with this. Like, tell me a little bit about your past and where you're at now and what you feel you need and your teammates need to be their best.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, growing up, traveling for hockey, going down to, like, Massachusetts for a weekend, it's not always gonna be perfect. Like, you're gonna stop at McDonald's, you're gonna stop at a Subway or something. Like, there's gonna be time and place for everything. And, just Gatorade, stuff like that, going out to eat, like, that's kinda hard out of your control. But, I mean, as I got older and really, I'd say my last year of juniors is when I really started to figure out what works for my body for fuel and energy and that type of stuff. It's really trial and error. That's kind of the best way I can describe it for myself, was figuring out what eating this at this time, how does this affect my workouts? Does it affect my skating? Does it affect other
Exactly.
things? It's really just you gotta find
There's
yourself.
science
Yeah.
up it's like it's a natural biofeedback, like
Yeah.
cause and effect,
Yeah.
right? And you know your body best. That's the thing. That's the hard thing about being in the health world. And I've really upped my knowledge about real good supplementation and optimizing using blood work and things like that. But it's like it really comes down to your ultimate experience. Like, how do you feel? How did that make you
Yeah.
feel? So I cannot agree more of like it's trial and error.
Yeah. You have 2 kids and do the exact same thing and 2 different outcomes there, feel 2 totally different ways. So it's really just figuring out what works for you and not really just focusing on that. That's honestly the most important thing, is finding what works for you.
So what'd you do then that last year of juniors? How did you figure it out? Did you just on your own? Did you Do you do Google search? Like, what was your
Yeah,
background? How
honestly,
did you
just
figure it
kind
out?
of just like social media, honestly, and just like kind of figuring out stuff for myself, just really trying to figure out what I could do to increase performance, just like a couple like small things like I don't really eat white bread. I only eat sourdough, like little stuff like that, like using more fruits and honey and stuff, natural stuff that can really give you a lot of fast acting carbs and stuff. Just trying to figure out simple switches like chickpea pasta, like stuff like that. Little things that that you don't like think about it, but they do make a big difference on your ability to perform at your highest.
It really does. I love how you're saying that, and I love your maturity about it. And you don't even know this right now, but this is like twofold. I'm using this for a podcast episode, but also this is awesome market research for me because as someone that wants to help you, like not you in general, like just you in general, you know what I mean? Meaning athletes in general. I want to have you not have that overwhelm. Like, what if somebody had guided you and told you this that you trusted, of course, without having to do the search online? Because sometimes it's scary online, I have to admit. Um, but this is good market research for me. It's like, okay, definitely. Now I've got to figure out where you went online. What platform were you looking at? Your time frame, is it Instagram, TikTok?
Yeah, it really depends.
You're too young probably for the Facebook world, right?
Yeah,
So that's seriously though, this is like research for me to be like, how can I reach the athletes like you that are ready to make changes for
yeah,
real? So that's so anyway, I'm not joking about that, but like you're a perfect person for me. It's like, okay, I'm ready to see what's gonna make the change on the ice or in the gym
yeah,
because obviously you know that you need to. Like it's no joke, right?
mhm,
Junior hockey is no joke.
yeah. Talking
And then
24/7.
obviously now college, right? Because if you slip up, like, or get sick, like, there's somebody else that's ready to
Yeah,
go and take your spot.
yeah,
So what else? The carbs, you mentioned something about that, the carbs. So with hockey players, like, we have different, I say we, like, you guys, athletes have different you utilize different energy systems.
yeah,
So, it's definitely awesome that you said that. Sometimes you need those fast acting good carbs. Like you don't need a sugar
yeah,
cookie. Our body can sometimes respond in the same way immediately, but overall that's
yeah,
not the right choice, right? You like you said, the quick fruits, those things. The big thing I'm seeing also with all of you guys that are you're stressing yourself like in a good way because you're working out,
yeah,
you're depleting your minerals like crazy, like quicker than anybody else. You know what I mean? Because you're just going through that, because you're stressed emotionally and physically. And obviously you're going through and you're sweating. And um, so I think that I'm seeing that with my athletes is needing to replace those
mhm,
minerals. So I know that's a good one. But yeah, using different energy systems is definitely key for people to keep in mind. Like, I don't wanna overwhelm people when I'm trying to educate them, but it's like you need to kinda know a little
yeah,
bit of that foundation, so you know the why.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, anything else that you can think of that you did? So you changed your bread, you got rid of the white bread, which I think is a really good idea because honestly, that your body just looks at that
yeah,
like sugar.
yeah, exactly.
Um, and then you're trying different pasta,
Mhm.
so that's cool. And how did you feel? Did you notice a change right off? For those that might be listening, they're like, "Well,
I don't know if
it's not,"
I directly, it's more as like if I go back to if I have like I'm out and about and I need something quick and I get white bread, I notice like later in the day I'm like, oh, I kind of feel like crappy. Or if I go get a if I'm at the dinner like a team
Yep,
dinner or something, we get pasta and I get it's regular pasta, I kind of feel like the way it sits in my stomach doesn't feel quite right or doesn't give me the
yep.
same energy I need.
I love that. That was so genuine, and that is so true, and I think that's why it's so hard because making changes for your health, they aren't quick fixes. It's not like popping a pill, and that's why I'm very careful. Supplementation is not like a magic answer either. That's just going to help all of the things that you're
Yeah,
talking about right now along with your amazing training, right? Um, and you have to do it the right way.
yeah,
But that's awesome. That's exactly what it's not just based on athletes too. This is a good comment for anyone is like your body starts like being relieved, like, oh, I can do the right things. Like if your system is working so hard at, like, say, um, digesting that heavy, oily pasta meal, and it's not necessarily the actual pasta, it might be the oil they
Yeah.
used in the sauce. It's probably some sort of, not so great oil, seed oil
Yeah.
for us. And then your body is trying to break that down. And then all of a sudden, your body is like, okay, I need to do, you guys are going to do a bag skate. You know what I mean? Like it's insane. But then you notice it. So that is awesome that you said that. I hope people really heard that. Um, but at least that gives you the feedback to try not to do it again the next time, right?
Yeah. And I just want to tackle on something you mentioned that I totally spaced on is seed oils. Like that's something I really tried to avoid. Like when I'm cooking for myself and at home, like absolutely no seed oils when I'm cooking. Like I just try to avoid that. That's something that I also noticed, like just makes a huge difference in your performance in your diet, just in your gut.
Did it really? So tell me, yeah, what did you feel? Did you feel sluggish or
Yeah,
what,
it's I
like
think
sick or
after
how-
I kind of first started looking into it, like eliminating those seed oils, like I just noticed my gut health improved so much, and just overall, like my gut microbiome was able to digest at a much more efficient rate.
look at you being all science. I love it. I love it. You are spot on. That's exactly right. A lot of things that I've been doing, Jason, it's unbelievable. It's blown my mind. So I don't know if you know, but like I've been obviously a physical therapist for years and years, like decades, right? Longer than you have been here
Yeah,
on this world. But recently, in the last few years, just really looking at functional medicine, but then I'm taking it a little step further. Some of my mentors were more calling it foundational medicine because even functional medicine is, yes, we can look at root causes, but we need more foundational help. Like our cells and our tissues aren't doing well because we're feeding it yucky seed oils and people aren't realizing, and it's tough times because they're going to be cheaper. They're
yeah,
going to be cheaper in the stores. But I'm sorry, I'm going to flat out say, like, and I grew up that way. We didn't
yeah,
know. Like my family, we didn't know any better, right? But we definitely had canola oil.
yeah,
Like that's vegetable oil. Like what even is that, right? So that's what we used when we were little. I will not let that happen in the house now. We're looking more at the clean, like avocado oil. And, we use olive oil. We try not to cook with olive oil too much unless we're doing light sauteing
yeah,
because olive oil has a lower heat
mhm,
index or heating quality. Um, but the avocado has high heat. Coconut oil has high heat. So I'm assuming that's what you're meaning that you're using more
yeah,
in your own.
yeah,
So are you in a house right now? Or are you
yeah,
with a kitchen?
yeah, yeah. I live off campus.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have a kitchen here.
Sweet. That is so helpful. I think it's harder. Like, for example, right now in junior hockey, Owen got a really good billet situation. Really attentive billet mom, and he can choose like what he's eating. And Owen is like you, he won't put y- crap in his body unless he didn't know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like he's learning. He's right there with you. The hard part about Aiden is that he's still at school and he is at the mercy of whatever they're cooking,
yeah,
so he has no idea, and sometimes they're not even allowed to get more, and I'm like, "Okay, if you need mama to get involved, I will call if you need more," because I've actually put my kids' information into, like, a system, and they, as hockey players, should be eating, like, over 4,000
yeah,
calories, like 46 something for almost both of them. They were very close with their numbers of the calories that they need to take, and then we broke it down further, and a lot of it is, we need protein, but you have to, like, at 5 different times in the day, let's have 40 to 50 grams of protein.
yeah,
But we gotta split it up. So that's the hard part if people are listening and the kids are at prep school or away at college in a dorm, the hard part is you're reliant on the cafeteria. So I'm trying to figure out what the answer to that
yeah.
is because I don't have that answer.
Yeah, yeah, because I had that I had to go to the dining hall my freshman year, and it was a bad experience, and I know we have a lot of freshmen this year, and they all are in the same boat. It's a tough spot to be in, just, like,
Yeah.
even if there's something you get, you never know exactly, like, what's in it. There's no way for you to
Yeah,
really
you
know.
don't know what they're
Yeah,
you kinda do.
yeah,
You kinda do because you know that the oil's coming in a
yeah,
big bucket.
yeah,
the mayonnaise,
Mhm.
if they're making a sandwich, the mayonnaise is in one of those 10-gallon buckets. I'm not making fun of any of these places. I just wish there was a better way. Maybe that'll be my dream someday, right? Um, is to get into all these schools, especially these schools with every school is athletics mostly,
Mhm.
right? I don't think that's an improper
Yeah.
statement. That I wish that would be probably my dream is not to leave. Some people will say, oh, I want to go help people in a different country. That's great. But I'm like, I want to help people in our own
Yeah,
country.
definitely.
Like, I want to help these
Yeah.
kids and these athletes because you're not getting that foundational stuff like you should. I mean, you're beyond it because you're now in control.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't have all the answers for the people that are relying on dorm food or, you know what I mean, cafeteria,
Yeah.
school food right now, even in the prep schools. Owen went to Cushing and he had some really good choices, but like you said, I'm not exactly sure what did they cook that chicken in? What is the oil? But another thing though along these lines is you got to do your best because you can't you have to just try. There's always a better option, you know, getting that grilled chicken versus the grilled cheese is the better option, even if we don't know what oil it
Yeah.
was cooked in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just gotta do your best. But awesome. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. The seed oils, that's huge. We could probably do a whole episode
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah. And like,
Any other things that you were thinking?
no, it's gonna like to kind of bounce off the last point about the seed oils is that it's such a simple, easy fix that that alone can be the start of a diet change or a lifestyle change, especially at home cooking for yourself. Like switching away from seed oils could be a big
Yeah.
first step.
Right? Kind of like you can do it just like how your mind works because of practice. Like, you don't all of a sudden, if your coach says, okay, we're going to do this brand new play, right? You got to break it down.
Yeah.
You got to break it down. You can't just all of a sudden know it, right? Or say you're playing a different sport and you just brand new, right? You can't just go out there and know it. It's the same thing with your health and your eating. I love what you said because just do one thing.
Yeah. You don't need
Go out there today. If you're listening to this episode and you're a parent or, you're an athlete yourself, ask your parent, or if you're like Jason, go out and do it yourself. Switch out, get rid of that canola oil, switch it out with avocado oil. There might be a little bit of cost difference, but you got to weigh out your benefits because in the end, you're going to be paying more for your health and sickness than you are if you make that choice. But yeah, that's cool. One small change. What's another change they could make? Can you think of something else?
I would just say like,
Like that typical athletes or hockey players would choose. We talked about Gatorade
yeah,
a little bit. You mentioned that.
yeah. I don't drink like
I bet
Gatorade or
you're
anything
some
anymore.
teammate
Just really try to stick to like salt.
bet you have teammates that
Yeah,
still do.
yeah. Like our coach buys Gatorades for us sometimes, but really just try to stick to like salt-based electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, sodium, stuff like that that our body actually craves and wants. And once I switched to that,
Like,
I really felt like truly hydrated for the first time. Like when you really start like consuming those in the high quality, like week per week, you really notice like you're actually hydrated versus like we drink Gatorade. Like it's a night and day difference of hydration.
yeah. Well, with the Gatorade, I know it is huge. There's such marketing with
Yeah,
it, and we're not gonna be able to like, I don't think I'll be able to stop that, right? But I just wish that they would take all the crap out of it. There's chemicals in there
yeah,
and there's dye to make it a different color. And, maybe you and I, maybe our bodies could handle it, but at what cost, right?
yeah,
Because like I said, if working on getting rid of that, it can't let you perform at the absolute best that it could because it can only do so much. We have an amazing body, but it can only do so much. But if you can take away some of that other stuff, right? If you're drinking just like I have some in here right now, actually. We have a couple that we really like in our house. There's a pickleball cocktail. I've got a new one that I'm trying with the kids. The taste isn't fabulous. But like I said, Owen will do whatever. He'll just
yeah,
take it. He'll plug his nose. So we're working through that. It's an acquired taste, but it's just a powder that has so many good minerals because you guys are losing your minerals. You're losing them obviously in practice when you're sweating in the gym, but you're losing them because you're in school, you're stressed in school, it is unbelievable how much we probably as a country are depleted in our minerals and need this. And you just saying that you felt a difference,
Mhm.
like that is wild. Like so wild.
Yeah.
I love that you're sharing such genuine, just like, hey, this is how I felt.
Yeah.
Um, Very cool. So oils, minerals, your pasta, anything else that you can think of?
Uh, Probably just like another like simple switch, like pink Himalayan salt versus just iodized salt, stuff like little things like that.
So just slow changes, right? You didn't
Yeah.
do it overnight. You just little by little.
Yeah.
Very cool. How about you have roommates?
Yeah.
Are they pretty much on board with the same thing? Is that helpful? Or
Yeah.
do you have people that are a little,
One of my roommates, like we're like kind of on the
I know
same.
we're calling them out. I
Yeah.
don't know
One of
them,
my
but
roommates, we're on the same page. Like we'd really like we eat a lot of the same meals. We buy a lot of the same stuff. But
sweet. That's
everyone else,
helpful.
I don't want to say, my other roommate, he's fine. He just doesn't do the exact same thing we do, which is good for him.
And that's okay,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's different.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, we're not calling anyone out. I'm just saying, like, it's so much easier, especially like, for example, at home, if your family is on board, because it's very hard if only one person is trying to make changes and the other person or persons, they aren't supportive. And that's why I asked. So I'm not trying to call out
Yeah.
any of your friends. Um, but that's really awesome. I'm so proud of you. That is really great.
Yeah.
Your dad thought this would be a good connection. So
Yeah.
he must have known.
Yeah. And
He
like,
must have known and must listening to some of my stuff. So he knew
yeah.
you'd be a good fit.
Like I got one last thing. It's like if everyone goes on their phone and downloads the app called Yuka, Yuka, and then if you use that app and you can scan every product at the grocery store and it tells you like
Oh,
what
nice.
the additives are, all that type of stuff. It's what I use. Like
I didn't know that.
yeah.
What is it? YUKA?
Yeah, it's Yuka. It's a little white with a carrot, it's the logo. So if you scan a product, it
Interesting.
will tell you like what the additives are, and then it gives it overall score out of 100. And then
Oh,
it
yeah.
also gives you recommendations on like a better product.
You know what? There's another one. Have you ever heard of the Environmental Working Group, EWG? So that's another one. I have their app. You can do similar things with that too. And you can look up, like, say, I don't know why sunscreen. We definitely don't need it here. I don't know what the weather is there, but the reason I thought of that is that one time when I was like, oh, sunscreen. So you look it up, and I don't want to waste time right now. I lost where it is. It's in my healthy stuff section. So it's like a little green, it has a E with a circle around it, but it's green. And you can search for a product that's they have this section called EWG
Mhm.
verified. And there's different categories: skincare, hair care, cleaning products, I mean, and then of course food. But it'll give a rating as well.
Yeah.
Um, the reason I said sunscreen is that's how I found a really good sunscreen that I trusted, a little while back
Yeah.
for the kids. But then anyway, that's another one to look at too, if you're interested. Um, it just breaks things down and it tells you like the risk level of the chemicals.
Yeah.
Once I think it goes up to maybe 10 or something like
Yeah.
that. And 10 wouldn't be a good rating.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Same idea.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, do you wish that you had done some of this sooner?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely when I was still in high school, I wish I was kind of had the balls rolling a little earlier. Definitely would have
I
been.
think it makes a difference. I think that's one of my goals, and I've got to figure it out. But I think you told me I need to figure out how to get a little bit more on social media in front of your age group, somehow, to tell people that they can make these small changes, and if they're ready, like an athletic health coach, like you have the strength conditioning coach, you have the D coach, you have the offensive coach, you have your head coach, you have an assistant
Mhm.
coach, right? You have all these different coaches. Like, you need someone for your health too. There's no, yes, you have your doctors, but it's different, right? Um, so that's just I need to figure out how, because I really am passionate about reaching more people like you sooner. So I'm hoping that the more that I can spread the word, the more that I have people like you on here, not that I've worked with you, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, giving the idea like, hey, I want to start this sooner, you know? I had Woody on here.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've ever listened to any of my podcasts, but he was on and just said that he wishes that he had put more time into his health as well.
Yeah.
So he gave some really honest opinions of just exactly what you said, but even sooner on
Yeah.
when he was, before Cushing and, all of that. So awesome. Well, can you think of anything else, Jason, before we wrap up here? What are you thinking?
No, I can't
Any
really.
other good words of advice from a junior hockey player?
I would always just say, make sure you bet on yourself. That's probably my best piece of advice. Don't give up. Bet on yourself.
There's always a way,
Yeah.
right? There's always a way. That's awesome, Jason. I'm so excited that we chatted. You seem like you're doing so great, and I'll be
Yeah.
cheering you on. I'll try to see if I can find. Are your games on Flow Hockey ever? Do you know, or do you guys have a
No,
whole
but
separate?
we just have, if you go on our schedule, it just, each game has like a link for to live stream. It's all free. So
Oh no way, we can just go right on. That's even better.
yeah. Yeah.
'Cause Owens is flow hockey, and then Aiden, it depends. If he's at home, we could do that. You could just go to his South Kent website.
Yeah. Ours is
But
just
when
like
he's
that.
away, it's either live barn or if they're at another place,
Yeah.
He was just at the Level Ice Arena, and they have their own, and, so it's a little bit frustrating, but we have to
Yeah.
find that process. But I'm gonna try to where do you guys play tomorrow?
Tomorrow's at UMass Dartmouth, and they should have.
Oh, yeah, you told me that. Okay, UMass Dartmouth, so I'll have to look it up. I'll try to see if we can watch one of your games.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. Awesome. Well, thank you so very much. This was really helpful. I really hope that some of your peers are listening. And if you can share this along, hopefully. You can now you're famous, so you can share the link once I put this out there. It'll go live. Maybe I'll get this out next week. We'll see at the time of this recording. It's not always immediate, but we'll get it out there. I really appreciate it. I hope that your peers and the people that are a little bit behind the process that you are at right now are really listening to what you said because you have said some really mature and thoughtful things. And I completely agree with you because I feel the same. I wish I had known back then when I was playing college sports. Like I'll embarrass myself, but it's bad. Some of the stuff I ate, some of the stuffs I did, some of the stuff I thought that was the right way.
Mhm.
It's unbelievable. And I
Yeah.
kick myself because I wonder could I have gone just a couple of steps better than where I was?
Yeah.
Because I did okay, but it's like you always wonder.
Yeah.
Because athletes, we're always competitive, right?
Mhm.
We're always trying to get that next.
Yeah.
Like, how can we be better? There's good and bad to that. That'll be for a whole other mindset podcast, right?
Yeah.
But I get it. So, thank you and good luck tomorrow. Good luck in the rest of your season. I
Thank
hope
you.
you stay safe. And you have so much fun. I tell that with my kids. I'm like, don't forget that it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you
I
for having
really
me.
appreciate your time.
No problem.
And good
Anytime.
luck and rest up the rest of today.
Thank you.
And perfect. And thank you all for listening to the Elite Athlete Podcast. I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thanks for joining me today on the Elite Athlete Podcast. Remember, achieving peak performance isn't just about what happens on the field, the court, or the ice. It's about mastering your body from the inside out. Every step you take, every adjustment you make to your health and mindset brings you closer to the athlete you're meant to be. If today's episode inspired you to take action, or you're curious about how you can level up your performance through targeted strategies like blood work analysis, head over to the-eliteathlete.com. There, you'll find program options that are designed to meet your specific needs and help you optimize your health and performance. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with your teammates, coaches, or anyone else you know who's ready to elevate their game. Together, we can build a community of athletes who aren't just strong and fast, but who thrive because they're healthy, balanced, and empowered to push beyond their limits. Stay committed, stay focused, and I'll catch you in the next episode of the Elite Athlete Podcast. Until then, keep striving for greatness. And remember, you are not alone in this journey.